Greetings from the greenhouse. Hope you're enjoying this glorious fall day. I wanted to share a bit about a client, different clients, but specifically a client that I've been working with without giving any personal details away, but it's more about the essence of how I've worked with this person and how I've seen them transform and change in a lot of ways. Now, first off, this might sound like it's one of those pitchy kind of things where I'm trying to get you to work with me. If it is, maybe I just planted that idea in your head. That's not my intention. Of course, if you want to do some work together or come for a retreat, cool. But I share it more because it has less to do about me and more to do with this concept. When you understand the concept, it will start to make a lot of sense, especially if you're someone who's on this personal growth, spiritual awakening journey, whatever you want to call it. You might hear my chickens singing their egg dance over there. They're always transforming every day. They live a very serene life in that sense. So, this particular person that I was working with was struggling quite a lot in a very bad place, kind of end of rope situation. And I first off want to say that I am not a therapist. I'm not a coach. I'm not a healer. So where do I get the audacity to say that I could help someone? And that's a great question because I don't think I can help anybody. There's nothing that I can do or tell you or convince you of that's going to change your life in any significant way. So why do I work with people? Good question. There's a lot to be said about the world of mental health and plant medicine and spiritual healers and all the things, but at the end of the day, no matter what modality someone practices, no matter what they get a PhD in or a degree or a certificate or whatever it is, on some level I find that person hasn't really taken this journey and made some sense of how this world actually works. They might get really good at something. They might study all the things and memorize all the stuff, but that doesn't by default mean that they know anything that can support you. Maybe you feel resonance with them and maybe they actually do give you some guidance and support and it can be helpful in your life, great. But the reason I make no claims of anything is because I'm not trying to teach anybody anything. Just as the subtitle of my new book, Fermenting with Your Best Friend, How to Ferment and Preserve Anything, Question Everything, and Learn Nothing. That's kind of the key here. So if you see what I'm getting at, stick around. If you don't, I will make more sense of it. So this client that I was working with was in a really bad place. And, I've learned a lot of techniques and tools and things over the years where I could have maybe gotten to them into more of an embodied state. And in the moment, my ego could have felt good. I could have done some breath work. We could have run up the side of the mountain. We could have jumped in the ice water and felt our, eternal flow and connected consciousness and all these things and feel inspired and alive. And, the client could have left and been in that state. But as I've come to personally see that I know better, that's a fleeting moment. And it might feel good for my ego to see them walk away and be inspired and in that state. But life, we don't stay in one constant state. So the way that Aja and I work and the way that we host retreats and work with people is just to present them with a slice of our life. As we like to say, and I have a friend, Benoit, who hosts a podcast, Discover More, and when he came to one of our retreats, he's like, I get it, it's no hiding. And that's kind of the thing here, is we're bringing people into our life to show them a slice of what our life looks like. Not saying it's the only way to live, not saying it's the right way to live, but just sharing a piece of the way in which we live our life. We wake up in the morning. I have my sort of house chores, check on the chickens, on the rabbits, in the garden. Aj and I come together and we tone. We talk about intentions for the day. We eat a nice meal, often in silence. And then we might go for a hike, and of course on work days we're going to be doing work and different things, but we're really just showing people one way to live. It's not super crazy and exciting all the time. A lot of the magic actually comes from the mundane, but it's real. And there are days when I feel more, tense than other days. Most of my life has become very calm and very peaceful, but I still have these smaller ups and downs. I don't have the big ones. So when I see someone that I'm working with struggling, even though I can maybe try to snap them out of it for a moment, I'd rather present them with just a way of being and show them, hey, you know what, whatever state you're in, and this is a reminder for you too, no matter where you're at, it's okay. Oftentimes, and I saw this with this client, where it's like they don't want to keep hearing that they just need to be positive or that everything's going to be okay. because oftentimes that is more frustrating. It's like when you're not feeling good and someone's like, oh, just be positive and you'll get through it. Maybe that's encouraging, but for other people that are kind of at the end of their wit or rope, whatever the saying is, it can actually make it more frustrating and more worse. So I just like to remind people that wherever they're at is okay, that I've been there too. I still have days of sadness. I still have days of loss and confusion. It's just that I've gone through such a deep level to get to the other side where I realize those days, I don't attach meaning to them. If I'm having some anxiety or confusion or fears come up, I'm not making up a story and trying to do some modality to break out of it. I've just learned to really tune in and trust. And at some point, the suffering that we're experiencing, it's this amazing miracle. It just starts to dissipate. And it might seem like, oh, I've been doing this work forever, for years. For years I've been doing all this healing on myself and all this growth, and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. Well, first off, it won't be until you look back that you realize how far you've come. And secondly, it takes a long time. I had a mentor that said, it could be 10 years. You wake up, but it could take 10 years to adjust to this new world you're living in. So just because you've woken up or you've seen some truth doesn't mean that everything just magically makes sense. It might in that moment, you might have this clarity, and maybe Mother Ayahuasca or the mushrooms or just some, meditation showed you some truth and clarity that helps you understand the world better. But then you have to spend years and years, if not a lifetime, adjusting to this new reality that you're living in. So when we bring people into our home, that's essentially what we're doing. We're, showing people one way to live, not the only way, but hey, now that we're awake, this is what life looks like. And it's not always glamorous, and it can be very simple, but a lot of the magic isn't the mundane. A lot of the beauty comes in these very simple and slow moments, and then you realize over time, you continue to change. You have these moments where you're sitting on the toilet or you're staring at a tree and things start to make sense. Or you're lying in bed and you're praying, you're meditating, and you have these aha moments. Those things just keep coming, and we just keep growing and growing and growing. In the moment in growth, it can feel like nothing's happening, because no matter where we are, it's easy for us humans to desire more, to want more, to be continually looking out for all these external things. But when you realize that that's all just the superficial, and that the healing is happening inside of you, the healing is happening cosmically outside of you as well in consciousness. We exist in this collective consciousness, that it's always happening. You don't have to force it anymore. You can just sit back and rest. And one of the biggest things people struggle with is feeling alone. When we realize that we're all in some way going through this thing together on the same kind of journey of aloneness, to me, that's actually what makes us feel, me at least, makes me feel the most connected, is knowing that everybody feels alone and that nobody gets them and nobody understands. That simple thing makes you realize that I'm not alone, because we all share that. It's quite a beautiful thing. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more, you can always reach out to me. youenjoylifemusic@gmail.com is my email. I'll put some links below. We actually have a retreat coming up. It's going to be our most budget-friendly. It's like a third of the price of our normal retreats, and it's up to 4 people. We have, I think, 1 or 2 slots left, and it's just a chance to come together and share in mindful eating and